Oh, I am so excited. I know, I feel like I just did my other wrap up. What month are we at? Do I even know what month it is? No. This will be the April wrap up. And I feel like I just did the March wrap up, but time is literally flying. Wait, am I wearing the same shirt? No. Slay. In today's video, we are going to be doing the April wrap up. And there's just something special about an April wrap up. If you are in the reading world, you know that if you love fantasy, if you love romance, I mean, honestly, if you love anything, because April is the month that every single good book drops. I swear. I mean, obviously there are amazing books that happen all year round, but April is especially packed to the brim with the most amazing books, and this year did not play. So I have some amazing books to show you guys and talk to you guys about. When we're reading, I've noticed that we're kind of sticking only between two genres, and I literally said last month that I want to be better about getting through different genres, and then we just didn't. And I'm not mad about it because I had an amazing time, but I really I need to be better. There are so many amazing genres, there's so many amazing authors. I know that I'm missing out by sticking so heavily with what I'm about to show you, but it's where I feel comfortable and safe. I'm sorry. So this is all romance and fantasy, romantasy specifically. I'm sorry if you don't like those books because that's all I have to talk about. First book that we started off the month with was Daisy Hates The Great Undoing. This was at the very tail end of last month. We started, I think, the last day of March, and then we finished it up in April. I've been loving the Magnolia Parks Daisy Hates universe series, everything about it. If you guys know, I love Jessa Hastings' writing. I have another wonderful, amazing book to talk about from her specifically, but this is just a continuation of the series. I've talked about this series multiple times on my channel. I feel like I've kind of gone over everything I need to, and because this is so far in the series, I don't want to give like spoilers and stuff like that, so just know I read this probably a 4.25, which if you've watched my wrap-ups before or just watched my videos in general, 4.25 is like my favorite rating to give books. I swear that's just like the sweet spot of I really liked it. I don't really have too much to say because again, it is continuing the series and I don't want to spoil. So that's it for this book. If you have, I don't know, been anywhere on the internet in the book world, literally at all the past month, you would know that Lauren Roberts came out with Fearless. This is the third book in the Powerless trilogy. In this, you are following Peyton and Kai and Kit and their whole stories. Again, I can't really give too much of an explanation because this is the third book in a series. I rated this a 4.5. I think my main issue with this book, especially after watching and, you know, taking in what other people have said about it, is I do think that the very last bit was very rushed. The very last, I'd say like 50 pages or so was very plot vomit, where I felt like everything was happening at once, and we definitely had the time and space to give us more. That was kind of not my favorite, and I also just got really sad for many reasons. There are characters from the past books that I really feel strongly about, and I don't know, I kind of felt, not that the author did these characters dirty, but like, yeah, she did do them kind of dirty and made them suffer just a little bit extra, where I was like, why'd you do that to us, to them, to me? Why? That's kind of it. But otherwise, had a good time. 4.5. Really enjoyed it. The next book, I am excited literally just holding it because I loved it so much. The next book we have is The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings, who again is the same author as Magnolia Parks, Daisy Hates universe, all that. This is my favorite book of all time. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even joking. I'm not exaggerating. This is my favorite book of all time in every sense of the word. I loved this book and continue to love this book with every fiber of my being, and I don't want to hype it up to the point where you read it and then don't get the point or whatever and don't enjoy it as much as it deserves to be loved and cherished. But I really think that main part of it was because I connected so deeply to these characters and to so many things that they went through. To give a rundown of what this book is about, you are following Georgia. She is from a southern family in the United States, and her family isn't the best. She has a lot of past trauma with them, and they aren't very good at dealing with literally anything. They're very kind of set in their ways, so they have a couple religious backgrounds and religious influences making their decisions and traditional values. And if you are from America and know the South, I'm sure you can understand what kind of background she's coming from. Her and her older brother, one of her older brothers, kind of got banished, pushed away from the rest of the family. She got sent to London and he got kicked out as well, and I'm pretty sure he went just to a different part of the United States. But her brother is gay, and she is kind of this sister that got blamed for everything that went wrong, and between the two of them, they just have not had a very good experience with their family. But long story short, they have to go back to their family, to their childhood home, to all of their problems because their dad has unfortunately passed away, and they are reading the conditions of his will to see what everyone's getting, what they're doing going forward, everything like that. And in this, you are just following all of their family drama kind of brought to light. There's a lot of things that happened in the past that finally finally get talked about, and some secrets that are revealed, and a lot of pain. I was obsessed. I really do think that it is because I felt like if you wanted to know who I am other than watching my videos or talking to me or whatever, if you wanted to get an idea of what it's like up in here, read this book, be in Georgia's perspective. It's literally like you're tunneling into my brain. Like, she is me, I am her, we are one. There's no other way for me to describe it, because I felt so connected to her the entire time. And it wasn't just because of the writing, because I love Jessa Hastings' writing, but it was because of stuff that happened to Georgia in the past, stuff that's happening to her currently, the way that she thinks, everything about it. It just scratched my brain and made me feel so seen and heard and understood. And a little bit of background about Georgia is she actually is a specialist in behavior. So her job is kind of to focus on everyone's behavior, almost like how you would think of the Criminal Minds show, where she's watching people's behavior, trying to see if they're lying or not, trying to see if they did something or not, trying to see everything about them and trying to get information from their body language before they're able to lie to you. So again, if you want to know what my brain looks, sounds like, feels like, just read this book and you will literally be inside here with me. So 5, by the way, did I mention 5? 5-star, my favorite book ever. I think that was pretty self-explanatory by the way I'm talking. Next, we have a book that I don't have physically, but this is God of Wrath by Rena Kent. I gave this book, I'm pretty sure I would land it in like a 3.5 range is where I'd probably put it. I can't really say too much because this book is technically in a series, but what I will say is that you're following Cecily and I believe it's Jeremiah. All these characters are literally just going together. It's Jeremy. Following the couples of a giant friend group in a dark romance, and they are specifically the children of mafia, some sort of like gang related, celebrities, super well off, very interconnected, highest of the highest up people. All of their kids are kind of running around these two universities, causing mayhem with each other. There's these little like underground clubs, and they're all just kind of causing mayhem is the best way I could describe it. It's very interesting because they do not act like 19-year-olds. I mean, they're not all 19. They're like varying in how old they are because of the difference in like education stuff. Some people are there for like their masters or getting a PhD or just starting undergrad. Just the things that they're saying, I'm like, how are you younger than me? Cecily is described as a little more quiet. They joke her around that she's like the prude of the friend group and just doesn't talk about sexual stuff very often and keeps to herself, and it's kind of like the mother hen of the group. She's always making sure that her friends are okay. She's always making sure that no one's doing they're not supposed to. Jeremy is the next up mafia prince who's going to take over for his dad, is in charge of everything, so he does all of the super suspicious bad boy behavior, and he's definitely like I think the oldest of the group or one of the oldest. Hi, okay, we're back. Battery has been changed. That's all I have to say about that. Next, I have a book. I think this is the only book that I did not talk about in... Actually, I don't really think I discussed God of Wrath. This is a book I know I didn't say anything about, and this is Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo. I read this for my personal little book club. This isn't something that I've opened up like to my YouTube channel. This is just among me, Sam, Sam's sister, and one of our friends, and it has been very, very fun. We've only been doing it. This is the first book we've done, so it's only been a month, but it's just fun. So there is a heist, 6 people. The main person kind of in charge of this heist, his name is Kaz, and he has a very not known past is how I would describe it. He's very mysterious. People don't know very much about him, and he kind of likes to keep it that way. He is not the top of his gang, but is working his way up. There is a magical system involved, so there are these people. They are called Grisha, and sometimes they are trained to be soldiers. Sometimes they're left to be free, sometimes they're hunted and killed, sometimes they're enslaved. It really just depends on the individual place that you're in, how these Grisha are treated. But here, where they are normally used as indentured servants, meaning they're pretty much slaves, and they are just kind of used for what their powers can be. And it's very interesting because the magical system in this book, it's definitely talked about, but it's not at the forefront because Grisha are not the majority by any means. It's very few and far between. We gave this a 4. It was very, very slow, but other than that, it was good. The last books that I read, this is the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. We read all 4 books in my most recent video, so if you haven't watched that, I would go watch that because you kind of got to see my reactions about all 4 of these. I was trying Cowboy Romance for the first time. So in this, you are following Emmy and you're following Luke. So Luke is mostly called Brooks because it's his last name, so I'm going to refer to him as that, but technically his first name is Luke. But Emmy and Brooks are 2 people that have known each other for a very long time. Brooks is actually Emmy's older brother's best friend, so you have that trope going on, and Emmy is coming back from a long career in horse competing, something where she's on the horse and she's doing the little course and she does it really quick and that's her job. I don't really know what it's called, but I just know that it's cowgirl professional. She is coming back home after an incident and she just kind of needs to reground herself. Brooks is kind of getting his life back together and has been for the past couple years, just getting out of his like teenage bad boy phase, and they bump into each other after seeing each other on and off, not like romantically, but like bumping into each other, seeing each other in passing, seeing each other at dinners, because she will come into town every once in a while, but they haven't really gotten to spend any real time together since she left, which I think it was like 10 years that she's been gone because she went to college and then stayed away. I think I gave this a 3-star or 3.25, something like that. This was obviously the first in the series. I was getting used to the ranch aesthetic. And the other thing I will say is that this series does have spice, and I did not see that coming. I don't know why, because obviously it's not a YA romance, so I don't know why I wasn't assuming that it was possibly going to get spicy, but I wasn't expecting it to the extent that it was. So just know that you're getting multiple scenes of very descriptive sexual intimacy. Second book in the series did not go very well for us. I gave this a 2 because I really could not get behind the main female character. I couldn't relate to her. I couldn't like her. I couldn't really read in her perspective. Every time that I was in her perspective, I just wanted to skip to the next scene, and she was my favorite. In this, you are following, I believe it's Ada. It's Ada. I don't know if the Ada, I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna say Ada. If that's wrong, I am so sorry. Ada and Weston. Now, Weston is Emmy's older brother. Not the one that's best friends with Brooks, but another one. They're all friends, but the other one. Ada has been recently hired to do the design work for a new thing that they're putting on their ranch. It's a family-owned ranch, and Weston is in charge of that specific thing. The next book is Lost and Lassoed. I gave this a 5. I loved this so much. So in this, you're following Teddy, who is Emmy from the first book's best friend, and Gus, who is Brooke's best friend, Emmy's oldest brother. So they're all connected very, very much. I think Ada's the only one that no one knows. So you're following them. Teddy is a seamstress / boutique store clerk, and she recently has more time on her hands than she thought that she was going to, so she signs up to be nanny because he is a single father. He has a very involved co-parent and they work very well together, but she is out of town because she is studying to be a lawyer, and so he is kind of thrown into a situation where he's not used to having his daughter that much, and so things start to fall through the cracks. He's very, very hands-on at the ranch in his #1 spot after their dad gives it up to him, so he has a lot on his plate. Teddy comes in to help him, but their personal history is that he has always seen her as a bad influence to his younger sister, and she has always seen him as the older brother grouch who ruins all her fun. And their personalities are very funny because he is super grumpy, wants to follow the rules, live his little grumpy man life, and she is, I wouldn't say rowdy, but just always up for a good time, super flirty, super sassy, ready to spar verbally with you at any second, and their romance was perfect. The last book, we have a little bookmark in here because Sam still hasn't read it. This is Wild and Wrangled. This came out recently, and I enjoyed this one. I definitely think that this was the one I could have done without. I preferred it to the second one in the series, but I do think that the characters in this, I could have gone without knowing about them. In this, you're following Camille, who is the co-parent to Gus's child. It was like after a one-night stand, so they're not together really, but they have a very good, like, strong co-parenting system going on. And then Dusty, who is her high school sweetheart, who has come back after traveling as a professional cowboy. She was a little bit easier to read in her point of view, and I definitely liked her as a person more. I found her a little bit more relatable than I felt about the second book's main female character, but she was another one that was very hot and cold and was letting her past kind of be the driving force to every single decision she made going forward. Dusty is the sweetest, the most considerate, the most, patient and understanding and loyal without fail, and so down bad for her. She just put him through the ringer. And it got me so mad the entire time. I just felt so bad for him because everything that he would do, she would just be like, "Oh, that's nice, but why are you doing that? Oh, that's great, but stop. Oh, that's okay, I guess, but don't do it again." Everything. And then he was like, "Okay, I'll leave you alone." She was like, "Why? Don't." It would get, you could tell I'm frustrated because they would get so close and then she'd fizzle out and then so close again and then fizzle out. I felt like I was getting whiplash the entire time I was reading this freaking book, and that's why it was getting me so mad. I didn't even get to talk about it in the video. Like, I just said I was starting it and then I told you guys I'd finished it because I was getting so mad. I didn't want to do this because you could tell I'm feeling riled up about it. I feel like I said this in the video specifically talking about it, but I want to say it again. I just feel like she wasn't ready the entire time that I was reading this, because in the second book I felt like she was ready, but she still needed to work through some stuff. I just didn't like her personally. She was not ready, like timeline wise, personality wise, relationship trauma wise, personal trauma wise, no, she was not ready. She needed some therapy. She needed some space. She needed a redo. She needed a good nap. I don't know what she needed, but she needed something because she was not ready and he was. And just seeing him constantly be there for her and her, there are so many descriptions in this book of them talking and him being so hopeful, like describing his face, that he's hopeful and he's smiling, and then like she'll just tear him down, like say something, and like the hope drained from his face, and like just knowing that he was like slouching and getting sad and that she was doing that to him every single time. I couldn't. So I gave this a 3 because I really did like him, and personally I liked her, but them together, if I was his friend, I'd be like, leave her now. Like, I would not be telling them to get together if I was in their lives personally. So that was my main issue with this. But that's the end of the video. That's all I have to say. We got through 9 books again this month, which is the amount that we got through last month, and I feel like that is so close. I want to be at 10 based off of like, I think what Fable is telling me I need to read per month for my reading goal. 10 I feel like is like the sweet spot where I feel like I can read for us and read for you guys. So I'm getting closer to hitting that goal. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys still enjoy these wrap-ups. They're the ones that do the best on my channel in terms of videos, so I feel like they are enjoyed, but I always feel like they kind of come so fast because I only have so much time during the month to make the videos that I feel a little repetitive. So I don't know, I'm feeling a little mixed about them. I was originally not going to do them this year and then I kept doing them. So I hope you enjoyed. I appreciate you so much, and bye.